Hello everyone, it's Lisa, and I am here today to give you both my August wrap-up and my September TBR. I'm doing this in one video because I didn't read much in the month of August due to my vision issues. But I did read 4 books in the month of August, and I'd like to share those with you. I did summarize the first 2 books in my mid-month check-in. If you'd like to check that out, I'll link that down below. The first 2 books that I read this month were spectacular and I love them. The first book was The Fact of a Body, A Murder and a Mystery, and this was fabulous. This was probably one of my best reads of the year. I totally loved the author and her writing and her story. It is a memoir, so it's talking a lot about the author's life and how she grew up and her history, and it's also talking about another story which involves a murder, and it's just so detailed and so heartbreaking and so well written that I enjoyed. Even though it was a hard subject, I enjoyed every second of this book. And I wish I had read it in the month of October because I'm starting to save up my October read books, but I'm glad that I read this and I highly recommend it. It was really a fabulous read. The second book that I read the first 2 weeks of this month was of Mess and Moxie by Jen Hatmaker. This is a nonfiction and it's wrangling delight out of this wild and glorious life. And Jen is just such a delight. She is so funny and she brings humor to different aspects of life, and it's just relatable, enjoyable, and I highly recommend Jen's book to everyone. She's just a delight. I know she started to do her own podcasts. I guess that's the thing now. People are doing their own podcasts once a week, so I do tune into her and listen to her occasionally, along with a few others. And she is actually starting to donate some of her merchandise that you buy will go to the relief in Houston, so you might want to look that up too. Not sure if it's her book sales or she has another line which I can link down also for you to have a look at. She does design some jewelry. She likes like the big feather earrings and whatnot, and she's just a really cool chick. So I would check this out if I were you. She's just a lot of fun and it's a really fast, delightful read. After those 2 books, I read finally Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. This has been on my list for a long time. And you know what? This was really good. I'm so happy I decided to read it. It was the story of 2 half-sisters and their journeys through life and the different situations that, well, you're talking about the half-sisters at first, but then they end up having children and their children have children, and you're following their genealogy line down. And the best part about this book for me, because I really like to keep track of things and know who I'm talking about, she puts a, what is that? She puts a, right in the beginning of the book, the 2 half-sisters, and then their children, who they marry, and so on, all the way down to the end. And I was wondering if at the end they would somehow meet, and they do. Fabulous read. A lot of it touches on slavery, both in Africa, a lot of situations in England, and then one family ends up immigrating to the United States, and all the to-do with slavery here and the Civil War and stuff like that. Just really very interesting. It's a fiction read, but it's just so well written and each story is fascinating. I didn't think I would like reading each chapter would have a different person's story. I didn't think I would like that because there's just so many characters, but because you can follow them from the beginning and see, you know, down the line, it's just so very interesting, and her writing is fabulous. I just enjoyed it so much. So I'm going to definitely recommend Homegoing. I know it's not a brand new book. A lot of people have read it, but it's just really that good. So if you're on the fence about it, I would go ahead and pick it up. I'm so glad I did. And then finally, I read Hunted by Megan Spooner. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and again, I did not think I would like it because, of course, how can you mess up or get any better than the original story? fairy tale. But it was so good. I mean, I was so captivated from the first chapter just because of the differences that the author decided to put in. It's exactly the same story, but she takes a little bit of liberty to change some things up a little bit, and I found that so interesting. She had mentioned in probably the foreword that she has been thinking about this book for a long time. It's, you know, years in the making kind of thing. And you can tell because a lot of thought was put into it, and it was fabulous. I love Beauty and the Beast, and I love Belle. She's my favorite princess, of course, because she loves to read, and this was just really good. So if you're up to a fairy tale retelling of Beauty and the Beast, you definitely want to go ahead and pick this up. Now for September, and I was trying to think, okay, what do I want to read in September? And I really don't. I don't want to read anything. I want to jump to October because it's one of my favorite months, because there are a couple of readathons that are geared around more of, you know, thrillers and horrors and that kind of thing. And I just want to jump to October. But September is probably one of my favorite months. Here in New England, the leaves are starting to change colors, and it's just so beautiful. And to live here is definitely a gift. And I enjoy it so much. We go apple picking and we get pumpkins and all that kind of thing. So let's not skip September, but I will tell you about the readathons in October when I'm done with these few books. I did get one from the library that I've been wanting to read for a while. It's The Wonder by Emma Donoghue. The only thing is this is due back in a few days, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fit it in. We have not started school yet. So we're starting school on Tuesday, which is the day after Labor Day. And I think this is due on the 5th, which is coming up really fast. So I'm not sure I'm going to get to it, but I'm going to go ahead and show you just in case I can read it really quick and then give you a review on it. If not, we'll just jump to the next book. One book I am so excited to read. It's brand new, and it's by an author that I really love, and it's called Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. And if you know what kind of books I like to read, I am totally into historical fiction, especially World War II. And this is supposed to be a fabulous book. I've read a lot of her other books, and she's a wonderful writer. And it's about two sisters, and I'm so excited to read it. So this might be the book that I jump into next. I encourage you to look it up if you like historical fiction. Get yourself a copy, because already the reviews on Goodreads and Amazon are saying that it's fabulous, and so I'm excited about it. And yeah, I'll probably read this first. The second book that I have on my list for September is a nonfiction. I work in the afternoons at a extended day center at one of the elementary schools in my town, working with children and trying to understand children when mine are already grown is a little bit difficult. I have first grade this year, and I'm actually really looking forward to it because I love being with the kids. They're just so much fun. But for teacher seminars right before school starts, we just had a speaker come in and talk to us about temperament. And it was just really interesting. I'm not sure if I thought what it would be like, but I was so far impressed with it. It was just really interesting, and, you know, like a personality test kind of thing. We've all done those, but this was about temperament and how when you're born with a certain temperament, and that kind of carries through for the rest of your life. And so, you know, looking at her material when I first got there, I identified myself right away with which one I was. And when it said, you know, the characteristics and things you like and don't like, it like described me to a T. I'm going to go ahead and put that information down below if you're interested, and then you can see which one that you fall in. I'm sorry, I'm rocking on my chair. Another thing is I did my hair. Can you tell? I decided to go really blonde, and so I can be dippy now in my reviews, right, if I want to. So anyway, the speaker at this conference talked about this book, and she just went on and on about it before she told us. It was killing me. She's like, this book, you have to get it. And you know, as a reader, if anybody does that to you, you're like, what? So she finally said it was The Dance of Interaction by Janine Fitzgerald. So I went ahead and got this on Amazon. I couldn't find it on Amazon. It was, you either had to get it used or, you know, whatnot. But she said it would be worth every penny. So I am really interested into learning. It's a guide to managing children's challenging behaviors. So if you work with children at all, or if you have children, or you want to understand children, or even adults, she said that this would be a really good book to go ahead and read. So I'm really interested in it, and I'd like to read this in the next couple of weeks too. As far as anything else goes, I don't have anything else on my list for the month of September. I definitely need to get those 2 books read. But with back to school and whatnot, I'm kind of going to leave the rest of my TBR open to see what I can find. And I'm also going to be compiling up my list for October. I started my channel last October, and I started it during the Spook-a-thon, which was so much fun for me. And I think the reason that I started my channel, and I had so much fun doing it, that I just continued on with reviewing books, and it's been a blast. This year I've had my ups and downs, videos I've made that I hate, videos that I've made that I've loved, and so many friends that I've made along the way. So for the whole month of October, there is something called a Frightful Read-a-thon, and it's from the 1st to the 31st. I'll put the information below. I'm not sure who's hosting this or the Spook-a-thon this year, but they're both so much fun to be a part of. And the Spook-a-thon runs from the 16th to the 22nd of October. So I'm looking for, my bookcase here has so many books that I have not read yet, and a lot of interesting, spooky, scary ones that I've been holding on to just for this purpose. So my October to read list is going to be huge, and I'm hoping by then we'll be used to, you know, getting back to school, in the groove of things, and I can dive in to these crazy, you know, creepy books that I'm way interested in. And The Walking Dead will start in October, and I'm just so excited for it. Are 2 other books that I've had on my list that I keep passing over. I'm rereading the Circle series by Ted Dekker, and I've been holding on to this. This has been next on my list, and I just keep bumping it down to months. So I might put this on my list again for this month and see if I can get to it. There are 4 books in this series. This is the second. So I reread the first a couple of months ago, and then there are 3 more. And the reason I'm rereading them is because he is coming out with a continuous story based on the Circle series. And Ted Dekker is one of my very favorite authors. So I'm looking forward to that. He hasn't come out with anything in a while, so I know he's working on this, and I'm really excited to see what he has up his sleeve for a continuous story, like a spin-off kind of story that goes along with this. So that's all I have for you. There are a couple of video tags that I've been meaning to do as well. Ones that I really want to do, and one of them was the Big Brother tag. That's just a show that I'm pretty much obsessed with this summer as well. There's really not much on television during the summer, and I've been stuck home a lot, which really stinks. But Big Brother has kept me on my toes, so every Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, I know Big Brother's coming on, and so I look forward to that. Yeah, I know I have no life whatsoever, but that's about to change. So enjoying this Labor Day weekend. I hope you all have a good long weekend as well. For those getting back to school, university, I wish you the best of luck this year. Have a wonderful year, and I will be seeing you soon. Bye.